So on the last video, you guys saw us replace the oil pan gasket on this Jeep because it was leaking. But we do have another leak, the transmission pan. It looks like it's leaking from there, so we're gonna go ahead and take it apart, take out the old oil, put some new stuff in it, and hopefully she's good after that. So I mean, you can see the pan is pretty wet. So that's what we're gonna try to fix today. And of course, these don't have a drain plug, so you're gonna get a mess everywhere, but it is what it is. Let's go ahead and start taking it apart. I'm just gonna loosen up the bolts and try to crack like one side. That way the oil comes off of one side and we don't make a huge mess. We do got this down here just in case. So I already did find something that gets in the way. If you look at the exhaust, there is a hanger right by the transmission pan, which makes it so you can't get that bolt out. So we're gonna try to take off that mount. It's on top. There's like a 13 up there. So I'm gonna try taking that off. All right, so I already went around and loosened up all the bolts. So loosening up that mount for the exhaust, I was able to slide it forward and get it out of the way so I can loosen up that bolt, which I already did. And then on this side over here, I loosened it a little bit more than this side because that's where we're gonna crack it, and hopefully the oil goes down on this side and not all over the floor. I'm gonna try to crack the seal. All right, so we got the oil coming out. Of course it's gonna make a mess because there's no drain plug, but I got the screwdriver holding it open. Well, it's draining a bit. That way we can take off the rest of the bolts. And John over here was telling me these rubber gaskets are not good to use for the transmission, that they will leak. The filter is fine. This is an Amazon kit, so I'll link it down below regardless, but we are gonna pick up a Felpro or like a cork type filter. $7.99, let me see. $7.99 Felpro, so we'll pick that one up. All right guys, so here comes the fun part of taking it out. I'm still gonna try to drain as much oil as possible, but I think that's pretty much it. So this pan is gonna be full of oil still, unfortunately. Let me just take off the rest of the bolts holding it up. All right, so now there's still some oil in there, but I'm gonna take off the gasket and then we'll drain the rest of the oil once that stuff stops leaking up there. And this is a steel pan, so I'm just gonna sand it with the razor blade. Try to get as much of it off as I can. All right, so we got most of it off. Next thing is I'm gonna drain the rest of the oil, clean it off, and then we're gonna hit it with the wire wheel to take off the rest of the gasket. Wire wheel. All right, so that pan is ready to go in. Now we need to change out the filter. All right, so for the filter, we do have two bolts, one here, one here. So they are T25 Torx bits, and we got two of them. All right, so we got the old filter out. So this, I'm gonna snug it down. It has a cork gasket where the oil goes in through. So we got the new gasket. This is Felpro. I'll have this link down below. And here you can see the difference in the gasket. So on Amazon, it said that this gasket fit the 42 RE. If you look at this one, it's not even the same shape. So this is the Felpro, this is the Amazon. This one's very soft, thin rubber, versus this one's a lot thicker. You can tell this is higher quality, so we're gonna go ahead and throw this one in. We do have the transmission pan all cleaned up, all dry now, so it's ready to go in. All right, so we just got done tightening up the bolts on these. I just did snug with my hand and then gave it a little bit more, not too much. When I first took them off, they were like not even tight at all. They were like hand tight pretty much. So I also put the bolt on for the exhaust hanger as well, so make sure to put that on. So we're gonna add the oil through the dipstick here. We're using a funnel, and I'm using the O'Reilly's ATF Plus 4. This one says for use in most Dodge, Plymouth, Jeep, and some Mitsubishi and Hyundai. I went online and I just found a bunch of different responses from people and their Jeeps. ATF Plus 4 was one of the main ones that people said. So we're gonna go ahead and put this in, and then I'll show you guys the Jeep hopefully not leaking. So we got about 4.5 quarts of the ATF 4 in this thing. We are going to start it up, put it in neutral, just to give us a better idea of where the oil is. Obviously, we're gonna check it later once it's warmed up, once I drive it a little bit. But for now, that's how we're gonna check it. So let's go ahead and turn it on. Hi. Yeah, we look pretty low. Again, we're gonna check it later on once I start driving it. It gets a little bit more warm too. So I forgot to record an update video, but I was driving that Jeep around and I was feeling the transmission slipping as I was driving. And what I ended up finding out is I checked the oil again and it was still too low. So I guess when it was parked, it didn't register correctly. So once I did put more oil, I think the total I put maybe like 5 to 6 quarts. And then after that, the Jeep was driving solid. So it was fine after I added more oil. Anyways, if this video helped you guys out, make sure to leave a like and a comment. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.